Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'll just go to the areas of disagreement. And number one, the lack of policy and studies to support the bill. Madam Speaker, there is a commitment by Finance Minister, the Honorable Matia Kasaija, to move away from annual piecemeal tax proposals. This commitment is contained in the Domestic Revenue Mobilization Strategy for 2019/2023/24. And this is what the Minister said, the Honorable Matia Kasaija. In order to achieve our revenue potential, we will move away from ad hoc annual tax policy changes. These piecemeal adjustments with little alignment to an overreaching strategy have created a high degree of unpredictability and uncertainty in our tax policy direction. The Domestic Revenue Mobilization Strategy will address this as well as ensure that our future tax policy embodies the principle of simplicity, fairness, citizen welfare, and sustainability. It cannot be the same minister asking Parliament to maintain what he says causes uncertainty in the sector. Piecemeal ad hoc proposals. If he has forgotten, you, Parliament, have a duty to remind him of this commitment. The Domestic Revenue Mobilization Strategy came of age last financial year because it is wonderful. Honorable Kasaija even extended it. We must help him to stick to it. The help is in the form of rejecting these piecemeal proposals. The Committee on Finance, which today in the majority report proposes approval, needs to revisit its own report on income tax amendment bill last year. Chaired by the same person, the committee stated thus: the frequent amendment of tax laws has caused challenges to both the taxpayer and Uganda Revenue Authority while administering taxes. It cannot be the same committee now entertaining and recommending what it noted was full of challenges. So as we remind the Honorable Matia Kasaija, now not here in fresh, but represented by Honorable Musasi's, we also need to remind the Committee on Finance that this is what you recommended last year. Point number two, specifically on Bujagai, let Honorable Speaker. About 2 months ago, to be exact, on February 4th, Junior Minister, the Honorable Henry Musasizi, tabled before Parliament the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2025, which Parliament approved on February 20th, exempting the income of Jagari hydropower up to 30th June 2025, just about 2 months ago. This particular bill of the 2 months ago has not, as the majority committee members note, has not been assented to. The same minister has brought another amendment for Jagari. The reason he's doing so is because on May 18th, 2022, you, Parliament, refused...
Honorable Ssemujju, just a correction that it was assented to. I have a assented copy.
I take note of that, Madam Speaker. Both of us in the committee, we were told it hadn't been assented to, but we take the information. The reason the Honorable Musasizi is trafficking these piecemeal amendments to benefit Bujagali is because on May 18th, 2022, you Parliament refused to grant Bujagali a 5-year tax exemption extension. Bujagali was first granted this sort of exemption in 2017, which was 5-year ending 2022. In 2022, Honorable Musasi sought another 5-year extension, which Parliament refused. He now resorted to annual amendments, like he did 2 months ago. He brought one, now he's bringing another. I think he has now returned in full gear with a request to extend the Bujagali tax exemption for 7 years. The reason EU Parliament declined to extend the exemption beyond a year was largely because the objective purpose for which it was granted had not been met. The objective was reduction of the power tariff. While Bujagali continued making abnormal profits, the tariff continued raising. There is even an ad hoc committee report to this effect. The ad hoc committee of Parliament found out that by 2021, Bujagali had benefited from a 388 billion tax exemption.
Procedure.
Madam Speaker, my honorable colleague, brother, keeps referring in his statement that you, Parliament, is excluding himself as if he's not a member of this Parliament. I don't know why he doesn't say us, Parliament. He keeps excluding himself in his statement, saying you, Parliament. But isn't he a member of this House, part of this Parliament? Thank you.
The speaker can't rule on even that. You go to the school and
It is collective responsibility. We passed it and it is us.
go and teach English.
I don't want to do work that is not mine. Teaching English. I am presenting a report to Parliament. I can't say I, Parliament. I am now before you to judge me. Can I, Madam Speaker, continue?
Can you finish?
I am. This matter is serious. You need to understand it. Yeah. So.
Honorable Ssemujju, finish.
While Bujagali continued making abnormal profits, the tariff continued raising. There is even an ad hoc committee report to this effect. The ad hoc committee found out that by 2021, Bujagali had benefited from a shilling 388 billion tax exemption. That's why you, Parliament, refused to extend the exemption. The Honorable Musasi is now daring you. He is checking both your memory and resolve. Table, this is in the report, Honorable Musasi. I'll give you a copy. The table below is showing the income on which we are supposed to correct a tax as of 2021. This is from the ad hoc committee report. It was 1.2 trillion, and the tax we were supposed to have corrected was 388 billion, which we didn't. Every year we continue exempting. The certificate of financial implication for the income tax claims that end-user electricity tariff will reduce from 481.7 to 459.8 per unit. This is not true, because currently the tariff is at 892. When you pay 10,000, you get 11.20 units. Babysitting Bujagali. The Auditor General also raised serious issues about Bujagali business ethics. which government must explain before asking for any further exemption. For example, Bujagali wrongly claimed 114,114 US dollar as part of insurance. Yet this obligation was supposed to be met by its supplier and not government. Although residency statuses for SGBHL and SNPINBV were confirmed for Mauritius and Netherlands respectively, validation of their status as beneficial owners of the dividends had not been processed. And although government is a proud owner of shares in this company, it is receiving no dividends when profits are declared. That's why the Auditor General recommended negotiating with other shareholders in Bujagali with a view of government acquiring shares that provide voting rights. It should be noted that government doesn't participate in the appointment of Bujagali's directors, nor does it have a representative on the board. This minority report therefore recommends that before this extension is granted, the comprehensive cost-benefit analysis of the tax exemptions to determine the value for money is necessary. We need to assess the impact of the exemptions on the electricity tariff, the financial viability of the Bujagali project, and the overall economic benefits to the country. We must also comply with the recommendations of our ad hoc committee on Bujagali and the special audit report on the same regarding Bujagali Energy Limited in respect to renegotiating the terms in the public-private partnership. And government must recover all excess payments made to Bujagali Energy Limited. So what follows is just the history. I don't have to go through this. Colleagues can read it to refresh yourself where this all started. Madam Speaker, thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Ibrahim. Honorable Nathan.